What is up, YouTube? I'm coming at you with another manga review, and this time I decided to start the manga GANTZ. I got this Omnibus Volume 1, which has the first 3 volumes of the manga in it, and I was going to do, like with Vagabond, and just review a volume at a time, but I had the free time to read this, and when I finished Volume 1, it kind of goes really fast, so I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to read the whole omnibus, and then I'm just going to talk about all 3 of the first volumes at once. I do have a bit of a history with GANTZ, though. About 10 years ago, actually, a friend of mine was selling some of his anime, and he gave me GANTZ, sold it to me. He gave me Elven Lied and GANTZ, and I'd never seen either of them before, but they just looked cool, and so I got the anime, and I watched it, and I fell in love with it. I thought GANTZ was one of the most fucked up, coolest things I'd ever seen. It was scary, it was relatable, it delved into the darker side of humanity and had a bunch of freaky alien shit going on too. Dark sci-fi, dark horror sci-fi, which is something that doesn't get meshed a lot because I feel like it's a very niche little genre, but of course those are the things I enjoy a lot. And GANTZ, along with being a freakishly dark manga, is actually kind of really funny too, in a way. It has a dark sense of humor, and a lot of that comes from the main character, but I'll get to that in a second. So anyways, GANTZ has, I guess, 2 seasons or 2 releases, whatever. I had the DVDs, there was 2 releases of them, so I watched through that, and of course I knew that it didn't cover the entire manga, and I love GANTZ so much. It's in my top 10 favorite anime. I love that anime so much. I haven't watched it in a really long time. And it was really cool reading the manga because it got all these flashbacks of when the first time I watched the GANTZ anime, and it's actually really, really faithful to it. It doesn't deviate much, at least from the first 3 volumes alone. I don't know about going further. At least from the first 3 volumes, the GANTZ anime stays pretty, exact to the manga, so I thought that was really cool. So it was kind of like a refresher. You know, I haven't watched it in, probably 7 or 8 years, and so it was a nice little, throwback, and I do plan to rewatch it again after reading some more of the manga. But of course I knew it didn't finish the manga, but I never got around to getting it or reading it. I guess I just sort of let it fade away, and I let the anime be the anime, and I did watch the live-action movies. I thought they were pretty good for what they were. And the anime, the CGI movie too, I also thought was pretty good. So everything GANTZ so far I've enjoyed. But I don't know anything going forward. All I know is up to where the anime ends. So I don't know any spoilers. I mean, I've seen, obviously, images online and stuff like that of, crazy shit, but I have no context for any of it. And out of context GANTZ is some of the best GANTZ around. So I'm really looking forward to continuing this series. I also do want to continue Vagabond, and I want to get into a few more. So expect more manga reviews showing up on this channel as well, because I really do like talking about this shit and giving my opinions on it. So as far as the first 3 volumes of GANTZ goes, one of the things I really like about this, if you don't know, quick synopsis, the main character, Kay, he's a kid in high school who is really obsessed with wanting to get laid, and he's so relatable because he is such an average teenager. The things he says in his head is one of the things that made me really gravitate and like this, because it reminded me a lot of when I was a teenager. The things, you'd see people and you would just instantly judge them. You'd have this kind of holier than thou attitude, but at the same time you're kind of a loser. You kind of suck, but you just, in your head, you kind of put everyone else down to make yourself feel a little bit better about yourself, and that's what he does. And at the same time, he's looking at porno mags and stuff like that, and he's just obsessed with women and tits, and he's never seen a girl naked before in real life, and he's just really wants to get laid. I remember those days, man, and yeah, I mean, I was there. So he winds up getting run over by a train. A homeless guy falls down in this train. I'm not going to summarize the entire thing. I'm just going to give you the setup here. So he's waiting for a train, and a homeless guy falls down on the tracks. And then going down to help the homeless guy get out is this guy that Kay originally knew when they were little kids, when they were probably 9, 10 years old, but haven't seen each other since then. So now they're teenagers. I think they're 15, 16, something like that. So I haven't seen each other in a while. And while everyone else is just gawking at this homeless guy down there, he jumps down to help him out. He recognizes Kay from when they were kids and asks him to help out, and then from the awkwardness, he's like, fine. Goes down, doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to help the guy out, and then they don't manage to get out in time. Train runs them over, and then they're suddenly transported to this like hotel room or wherever it is, some room with a bunch of random other assortment of characters, with this big giant black ball in the center of the room called GANTZ that opens up and gives them suits and weapons and says they have to go kill aliens. And then they're transported onto the city streets, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's half the enjoyment of GANTZ. Half the enjoyment is not knowing what the fuck is going on, but getting fed these little pieces along the way. Like, it's like you know something specific is happening, but it's giving you little pieces here and there. Basically, it puts you in the same place as the characters. The characters don't know what the hell is going on, so you don't know what the hell is going on. So you're slowly learning things as the main characters, Kay, and I forget the other, what's the other main character's name? Kay and whatever. I forget. Fuck. Should be more prepared. Anyways, the two main characters. So you only know as much as they know going in. So they don't know what's happening. The weapons are very strange. They go off, and there's like a second delay, and then something blows up in front of you. Nobody knows how to use it. None of these guys. I mean, two of the guys in the group are Yakuza members, and there's other random assortments of people. There's an old guy that had cancer. Basically, they were all about to die. They were all on the verge of death or did die, possibly, and then were transported to this room. And the mystique of it is they don't know if they had actually died or not. But then you find out there's another character, the main female character, who is mostly there for fan service, let's be honest. She's naked a lot. She has gigantic tits. Not sure what to say about that, but she's there. But she finds out, once they are returned, that there is a version of her that's still alive on Earth, because she was going to cut her wrist to die, and that's how she wound up in the room. But apparently she didn't actually die. Unlike Kay, who was actually run over by the train, she didn't bleed out enough to the point where she was actually dead. So now there's like two versions of her. And yeah, I know. So basically, if you haven't read GANTZ, this review probably makes no sense whatsoever, but fuck it. So that leads them to the theory that maybe themselves now, the ones that wound up in that room that were told that they have to go kill aliens, that they are just copies of the versions of people that were really alive. Like, as if the people actually did die, and there was some kind of program or something that happened, and now there is a second version of them, a clone version, a copy version, something like that. So you're dealing with this kind of existential, like, did I actually die? I don't know. Am I just taking the place of the version of me that was here? So you have that mystery going on. You also have the mystery of what is GANTZ. Don't know. It's just this big black ball, and inside of it looks like a person that's like hooked up to tubes and shit, and it transports you somewhere and tells you you have to kill an alien. And these aliens are insanely powerful. Well, some of them are. They're very random. That's the thing about it too. Like, GANTZ is so random that you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what to expect, because the first alien you meet is this little wimpy thing that wants to give you his onion, and the dudes just they just murder it, because they don't believe any of this is real. They think they're on some kind of game show or something. So they're just like, okay, we're supposed to kill this thing, and we win. So bam, 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 and it just explodes. And they're just like, okay. And then the second version of this alien comes up, which is this giant towering like monstrosity. Let's see if I can find a good image of it. Like, it's just this giant dude, and he just starts ripping them apart. Like, literally, like, they realize, okay, this is real, we are dying. And it's almost like they have no chance whatsoever at defeating these things. It almost as if it is some sort of game show, but for some kind of higher race that just throws these humans into these scenarios, and let's see if they can beat this thing. That's kind of what it feels like. And like I said, I don't know. Like, the anime doesn't even go, at least from what I remember, far enough to really explain what GANTZ is. So all they know is that they're transported here and they have to kill these aliens. But the thing that's really interesting about it to me, and how I think it goes into the darker side of humanity, is this one character that's been through GANTZ before. Like, all the characters wind up in the room, and they all have no idea what's going on, except for this one character. And he is also a kid around the main character's age. but he basically has no, like, this kid right here. And he's here, he understands. He understands what they're supposed to do. He's been through GANTZ enough times now where he knows what's going on to an extent. He doesn't know everything, but he knows the cycling scenario. He knows we get transported there, we get weapons, we put on the suit, we go kill the alien, and then we get points. So he kind of waits, he kind of fucks with people. He's the one that tells them that it's a game show. He's the one that kind of waits in the wings for everyone else to die and then shows up and, you know, captures the alien. So what I really like about his character is he has this kind of idea that I think is really true to life in a sickening way, in that, you know, everybody is very curious to see something else die. So what I mean by that is in the very beginning of the manga, where Kei watches the homeless guy fall down in the tracks, there's this scene where everybody is watching. There's, like, it's in a subway and it's all filled. There's people watching, but nobody's going down to help this guy. Everyone's like, oh my god, you know, I can't believe this. Somebody please help him. Where's the security guy? Blah, blah, blah. Everyone's pretending to help, but not actually helping. And it comes from this, like, subconscious, dark, deep desire that, sure, the right thing to do is help this guy out of the subway track, but I've never seen somebody die before. I've never seen somebody get run over by a train. What would that be like? And you know that that's a deep desire inside everyone's head, is that they're all thinking, yeah, I want to look like I'm helping, but really, I want to see someone die. And that is kind of the philosophy. I don't know if that's really the meaning behind GANTZ. I don't know. I haven't looked up the themes. I haven't looked up the story. I haven't looked up the author's intentions. This is all me. And that's where I come from when I review manga and talk about movies and manga and books and everything, is I like to have my interpretation and share that. I don't care about the intent. I mean, I care about the intent of the author, but to me, art is so subjective. It's about what translates. It's about what each individual person gets out of it and what it means to them, and how the story, what the meaning behind it is to them. So, to me, I think one of the thread lines behind GANTZ is it's preying on that darker sense of humanity. It's preying on the idea that we do, like, humanity, human beings, deep down, we do want to see death and destruction. It is what we prevail at. It is what we're best at. We are so much better at destruction than we are at creation. We are so much better at hatred than we are at love. We are so much better at killing than we are at helping life blossom and be great. You know, it's so much easier, and it's just this dark, twisted desire that we all kind of have, very, very deep down. And that scene of them not wanting to help the homeless person, that happens in the it's the first scene in the manga, in the anime, the very first scene, and it's showing you that. And I think that's done for a purpose. I think it's done to really show you that in these times of extreme emotional stress where something must be done, that humanity as a whole, for the most part, will choose to not do the right thing in light of seeing something crazy happen. We love it. We love when destruction's on the news. We love when there's horrible things to talk about. It's what riles everybody up. And none of these things are good. These are not good things. I'm not promoting any of these things. They're horrible. But that's the thing, and I think that's the point going into GANTZ, is just that people get off on these horrible things. They just want to see it happen. And it's a fucked up, dark, disgusting part of humanity. However, you have the character that actually does jump down and try to help. You have this one character out of this whole group of people that actually decides he wants to do something good. And I think that, again, is playing into what the themes of GANTZ is supposed to be, whereas it's kind of an anomaly. You know, like, the helpful, good, heroic person is one out of dozens. Dozens of people watch, one person goes in to help. If a bunch of people all jumped in to help at once, they'd get that person out easy. You know, a couple of people all hoist him up, pull him out, it'd be easy. But instead it's just one person. Anyways, I talked about that one scene like way too long. Anyways, so after the first encounter, after they do manage to get the first alien, they're transported out of there and they get to go home. And this is where I told you that the other K, the female character, the main female character, notices that the version of her is still alive, and so she doesn't want to go home. She doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to interact with her other self, because what is this other self? So instead she goes to her main character K's place, and of course, being the teenage boy that he is, he really tries to I mean, he tries to bang her. I mean, can you blame him? He lives on his own. Girl comes over. She's super hot. I mean, she wants to stay there. Can you blame him? Anyways, and then when they're transported back for the second round, we get a whole slew of new characters. And this will be interesting about GANTZ too, is that every time characters die from the first GANTZ encounter, there's going to be new characters introduced. So we're going to kind of get a continuously cycle characters, and it'll be interesting to see which ones survive and stick around, and which ones kind of go. And it's funny that every single time this thing reboots, every time there's a new GANTZ game, there's going to be new characters that are like, what is happening? I don't understand what's going on. Oh, there's also a dog. There's a dog in GANTZ, which is hilarious. I love it. And so, but this time, K forgets his suit. And the suit is basically something, nobody puts it on the first time, because it looks stupid. It's this black, like, let's find the suit. It's this, like, dumb-looking suit that, well, this is it when it's all powered up. But, nobody wants to put it on, but the main character does. And it winds up, like, enhancing your physical ability a bit. Makes them run a little faster, punch a little harder, jump a little further. So, the second time, they're like, everybody put on their suit. But K took his suit home the first time, and he doesn't get a new one when he's sent there again. So now he's the only character without a suit. And that's kind of how it ends. They get transported to the city street, and now they have to take down this one alien. And I remember this from the anime. This gets fucked up. This is not what the alien actually looks like. It's kind of its human costume to go around the city. But now he's transported there without his suit, and that's where the omnibus ends. And I'm really, really excited to see where GANTZ goes. Also, I know GANTZ is a completed manga, so I won't be left in crazy hiatus zone like I am with Berserk or Vagabond. Once I catch up, I actually will be able to finish GANTZ. When I'll get the next omnibus, I'm not sure, because, you know, funds are tight and bills and everything, so that, you know, when I can order stuff off Amazon, and I refuse to read manga off of scans unless it's like a Berserk scenario where I really need to see the new chapter as soon as it comes out, because I just don't like reading manga that way. I don't like reading books that way. I don't like reading on a screen and scrolling. It doesn't feel right. Like, I have to hold the pages open and read them as they're supposed to be laid out. Smell the fucking pages. Come on, if you're not smelling your book, are you really reading it? But anyways, okay, so that's my little rant and review of GANTZ, the Omnibus Volume 1. If you are a fan of GANTZ, without spoilers, tell me, what the hell am I in for? Like I said, I've seen the anime to its completion, but I have not seen anything past that, nor do I really know about anything that happens past that. So, if you're a GANTZ fan, tell me all about it. Tell me your thoughts on the first 3 volumes that are collected here, and I look forward to continuing it. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll talk to you next time.